And that's just the way it is. Your body's not powered by how much discipline you have, it's powered by your cellular energy. See, most women think that at the end of the day, when they're fatigued and they're exhausted, it's just because they have too much on their plate. They have too many responsibilities and they have a lot of life stress. But you would be surprised, shocked actually, at how much capacity your body actually has if it was running on the proper systems. So, what I want to talk about with you today, my holistic soul sisters, is the real reason that ambitious women are exhausted all the time. And it's not what you think it is. As someone who's a fellow high functioning girly, you know me, I am type A, I'm a Virgo, I'm an eldest daughter and eldest granddaughter, and I have a lot of dreams. But I also had a crazy health crash that literally put me in my bed for 9 months. And when I came out of that health crash, my burnout and fatigue moment, I had to rebuild my health systems so I could go back to living the full life that I'd always dreamt of without having to hit the stop button all the time. And so when I work with women who come to me and say, I am so exhausted, so fatigued, and it's inhibiting their life, it is detrimental to me. And I cannot let it happen any longer. So whether you're a mama of multiple kids and feel like you are 2 seconds away from crashing out, or you are climbing the corporate ladder and you feel like you are sacrificing your health in that climb, or maybe you're an entrepreneur and you just feel so challenged with your health that it's hard for you to run to your dreams. We need motivation. We need cellular energy. We need brain power. We need the capacity to wake up every day and use the 24 hours in the day to its fullest. But that does not come without a strategic, holistic, performance, health optimization plan. We're going to break all of that down today so that you can leave with some tangible changes that you can make in your life to start shifting your cellular energy and waking up and feeling like you can seize the day instead of climbing into bed at the end of the day and feeling absolutely drained. See, the thing is, most women who are high functioning, high performing, are successful, or they're moms and they seem to have it all together, are actually doing so many things right. Otherwise, they wouldn't even be in that position. They'd probably be bedridden. They usually are taking some form of supplement. They have some form of self-care practice, or they go to the sauna or go to the gym or have some sort of wellness routine. They're mindful of what they eat. They are conscious of their environment. Like, they're doing the right things. But why are you not feeling 100%? Why are there still little threads in your health that are holding you back? And see, the one thing that I've noticed working at the integrative clinic and working with private clients is that typically you're doing a lot of right things, but there's some foundational errors, or you're doing too much of those things, right? Example is you're taking so many supplements and you don't even know if they're working. And that is not going to work out well for your body, because every time you ingest a supplement, it has to use your cellular energy to digest it and break it down, right? Energy in. It has to then break down and give you some sort of reciprocal energy out. So let's say I'm taking 10 supplements every day, and that's taking 10 units of energy, 1 unit to break down each capsule. But what if 3 of those capsules benefit me? Not at all. Now I'm in actually a depleted of 7 output because the 3 were absolutely wasted. And this is what I see happening with so many women. They are duct taping their health and wellness routine, and it comes at the sacrifice of them performing at optimal levels, whatever that performance looks like for you, whether that is being able to play with your kids and live life to the fullest, whether that is multitasking and being a mom and also working a full-time job, or whether that is being in your corporate position and you're just literally wanting to get that promotion, but you're having to take more days sick because you don't feel well, or your hormones are kicking in and it's right before your period and your brain fog is at ultimate detriment to you coming up with that brilliant idea to be put on the radar from your boss because you just are missing those little cellular units of energy. And I think the thing that's most frustrating about type A women and high achieving women and high functioning women is the fact that they're able to figure out so many things in their life. They're able to run their household schedule. They're able to be resourceful and solve problems. They're able to, climb the corporate ladder, and they're super intelligent. And so they hit this roadblock of like, why can't I figure this out? What am I missing in my health journey? And that's where I come in, because this is literally what I specialize in. I love biohacking. I love longevity. And the biggest detriment I see is that people start playing whack-a-mole with their symptoms. They're like taking this for their migraines. They're taking this for their digestion. They're taking that for brain fog. But yet the root, the underlying cellular system is broken. And so no matter how much fuel you pour in the fire, if the spark is not lit, the fire will not burn. And so that's what I want to discuss today. So, as we kind of talk about this, I want you to recognize that your body runs on the cellular battery, right? This is very like quantum physics oriented. And if we don't take it back down to that cellular level, we miss the entire plot of how our body operates. I love to use the Ferrari analogy because if you're someone who has these big goals and these big ambitions and you want to live this magical life and you literally want to do it all like I do, you recognize that you cannot run your body like a Honda Civic when you want a Ferrari performance, right? And so, on a cellular level, we have to recognize that our cells need to operate at this peak performance. So, in physics, we recognize that energy cannot be created from nothing, right? It can only be generated and conserved and transferred. So, everything that comes into our body is either going to enhance our energy or it's going to drain our energy. And then once we have this energy, we can also have these little blocks in our energy, right? I want you to think of like an electrical grid or an electrical circuit. If you put something in the path of that energy circuit, it can block the energy flow. And so we have drainers and we have blockers and we have enhancers. And this is how I look at things like supplements and nutrition and wellness routines and the way in which our environment impacts us. And that's the formula. That's the pathway. In each person, because you're bio individual and you have your own genetics and you have your own coding and you have your own lifestyle and every single person's different, is where you find that unique method and formula for you. So I want to be able to help you do that today. So let's start out with drainers, things that pull energy from your system. And this is something that is massively missed. When I see people come into the clinic or I talk to someone on a first time holistic power call, they tell me all the things they're doing. Okay, back to the supplement analogy. They will hold up a bag of supplements or they've bought everything that's ever been recommended to them and they're taking it all. Some of those things can be energy drainers. They're not actually benefiting you. But also, what's one of the biggest drainers to our cellular battery in your body is toxins, pathogens, and infections. And I think where we go wrong is we think, oh, I can't possibly have an infection in my body because I don't have a rash. I don't have the sniffles. I don't have the flu. But that's actually not how it works on a cellular level. Your body is so innately intelligent and your immune system is kick ass. It is working 24/7. That bacteria you touched on the door handle on your way into the bathroom, yeah, your immune system already fought that off. Or that burger that you had that had a little bit of E. coli in it because it wasn't fully cooked all the way through, yeah, your immune system handled that too. And you traveled and you went to another country and you walked barefoot on the beach and a parasite, they enter our feet, believe it or not, was entering into your system and your immune system was there to attack it. Our immune system lives in our skin, in our gut, in our mouth, everywhere. And it's always working. So again, cellular output, your body is using energy 24/7. So what happens is sometimes things go unchecked and we have what we call these low grade infections, things that run in the background. So I see this often with Lyme disease. Some people don't have these crazy symptoms of Lyme, but they were exposed decades ago and it just goes unchecked for a really long amount of time. And now the immune system has this burden that it is having to focus on keeping this thing that it's now built this symbiotic relationship with. It acknowledges, okay, you're here and we can't get rid of you completely because we don't have enough soldiers to get rid of you completely because we have to allocate a certain amount of other soldiers to defensing from the new bacteria and the new pathogens that we come in contact with every single day. Now, again, this is under the assumption that you are putting enough good energy in your body from food and herbs and supplements to keep the inflow of energy to help give the outflow of energy to your immune system to protect it. So we're talking best case scenario here. So what happens is these low grade infections, for some people, it's canker sores, right? You keep getting cold sores and canker sores. That's a herpes virus. And when do they come? They come when you're stressed. But they're always there and they never go away, even if you don't have an active cold sore or canker sore, because the immune system is working 24/7 to keep them at bay. But we have dozens and dozens of other things in our microbiome, like candida, like parasites, like other viral infections, long COVID, etc., that is wearing down our cellular battery. They're drainers. Other drainers include toxins, more prevalent in our common world. And some of them we're exposed to every moment of every day, like if you have silver mercury fillings, Or if you're eating a certain food that has PFAS in it, or you're cooking with, toxic cookware. None of these things individually are detrimental to your health. And some people can do all the things, smoke cigarettes, drink alcohol, use, PFAS filled pans when they cook, and nothing happens to them, right? You have those people in your life that you kind of resent, and they're like, they do all the wrong things for their health and they're fine. But are they living the life you want to live? Are they running around, skipping because they're full of energy? Or are they surviving on caffeine? Do they complain of headaches? Are they getting sick more than once a year, right? You don't have time to get sick more than once a year. You don't have time to not feel your best and to have a headache every now and then, right? So all this to say that the toxins that we're exposed to drain our cellular battery, right? If we think of these cells in our system doing all these jobs, repairing tissues, helping us breathe, turning our brain on, making hormones, the body is so magical. But now you throw this heavy metal in there, and the heavy metal comes in and it disrupts the electrical chemistry, right? Heavy metals, we know from science class, disrupt currents, disrupt frequencies, and it brings your cellular battery down. So my main goal always is to take the drainers, the things that weigh you down, out of the system as fast as possible. But there's other drainers. It's not just toxins, infections, and pathogens. We have digestive drainers, which essentially means certain things that you eat that, again, don't provide you with nutrients, but rather cause your body to have to work harder to break down and digest. So everyone has different kind of food sensitivities, right? We're never really allergic unless you have anaphylactic shock, but there might be certain things. For example, it might be really hard for you in your microbiome to break down sugar. Maybe you have candida overgrowth, or you have mold or fungus exposure, and now you eat sugar, and it causes your body to have to work harder to break that down versus having some broccoli. But maybe someone else has a really hard time breaking down cruciferous vegetables. They have a hard time breaking down broccoli, but they have no problem with fruits and fruit sugar. And that is where the bio-individuality comes in. That is something that we always check for when we're doing the root cause screenings at the clinic. We're able to customize these meal plan formulas for people that are not forever. They're just when you are removing drainers and increasing your cellular vibration. This in this moment isn't working for your body, but this in this moment would be really good for your body. And I've started to dabble a lot more into biohacking and longevity. And I do think there's something to the blood type diet. But even then, right, you could follow your blood type diet. Let's say you're O positive and you can have a lot of red meat. Great for you. But in that blood type diet for your specific blood type, it might say you do really well with broccoli. Let's use that example. But again, if something is going on in your gut microbiome, certain bacteria, certain fungus, certain candida, certain parasite, then maybe that is disrupting how your body breaks down the broccoli. And even though your blood type says you can have it, the infection that you have is feeding off of that food, right? So again, there are layers to this, but through this and my learning in biohacking and longevity and digestion and all these things, it's finding the right formula for you. That's the magic, right? This is what I've had to do. I know there's certain foods that when I eat them, the worst thing isn't going to happen, but I'm going to feel really exhausted the next day. For me, that's eggs. Am I allergic to eggs? No. Am I going to feel like climbing into bed and taking a really long nap? Yes. Am I for 3 days after eating eggs going to feel like I am having the worst brain fog of my life and I am like in a foggy haze and my gut microbiome is disrupted and so therefore my brain is disrupted? Yes. So why am I going to eat that, right? But I only found that out through hacking my own unique individual digestive drainers. What is draining me on a digestive level and what is enhancing me? And then we have something called cognitive drainers. Cognitive drainers are exactly what you think, things that drain your battery in your brain. Your brain runs on an electrical grid, and there are things that are constantly disrupting your brain chemistry. Too much stimulation, too much noise, too much multitasking. This is where a lot of people with productivity and time management hacks and successful entrepreneurs, and you can scour YouTube for all the productivity. They talk a lot about this brain power, that if you're on a task, stay on the task. Because if you switch between talking to this person, then working on a project, then answering a phone call, you're switching tasks and your brain only has so much battery to focus on certain things. Have you ever had this happen where it's like you had something really big to do in the afternoon, but you busied your morning? You busied your morning with all these phone calls and appointments and talking to people and answering emails that by the time you get to the important meeting at 2 o'clock, your brain is already fried. It has a limited cellular battery. My hack, my goal is to increase the cellular battery of my brain so it starts out with 100%. And then by the afternoon, it's maybe only down to 70 or 60, and I still have enough performance left in my brain, rather than waking up with a brain battery of 50%, where I've got brain fog and I wake up not clear and I'm having a hard time, even in the morning, first thing in the morning, thinking. Have you ever that happen? You wake up in the morning and it takes you like an hour just to feel like your brain turns on? Yeah, that doesn't happen to me anymore. I literally jump out of bed like alert AF, and I just cannot wait to get the day started. But I have to be strategic with my brain battery or it will drain. There's so much to this, and I can make an entire separate podcast on brain battery and go into like nootropics and microdosing mushroom and time management and brain stimulation and dopamine. And like we could go on and on. I'm going to talk a lot about this in my workshop, the Do It All workshop, which I don't know why it's taking me this long as a health coach to create something like this, but we're going to be doing it. And I know so many women that are going to benefit from this workshop are over ambitious, high achieving, high functioning, successful women with busy, busy lives. So you probably won't be able to catch it live and you're going to need the replay. And I'm going to design it for that exact purpose. So you can catch the replay whenever. However, if you catch the replay before Saturday, March 21st, you can come to a free live Q&A call with me on that Saturday morning where I can answer your questions. We can talk about all the topics. I can help you find your unique formula. I can literally dive in a little bit deeper and consider it some free coaching to get you back on track with increasing your cellular energy, because that is literally my goal for you. But this is something that needs to be discussed because it goes back to what I said at the beginning of this episode. I don't believe that you're tired at the end of the day because you have too much on your plate. I believe at the end of the day, your cellular battery is dead because you haven't charged it enough. It isn't at full capacity. You start every single day with a battery on 50%, brain-wise, digestive-wise, cellularly, emotionally. And so your capacity for the day is diminished right from the get-go. And I don't want that for you. I want you to be able to do all the things and do them well and still at the end of the day have enough energy for your partner or finding a partner or your hobbies or yourself. Self-care is not the answer. It's the worst advice for a highly ambitious woman. Self-care is not going to reset your cellular energy. So drainers, we need to address drainers. There's so many more. You get the picture. Let's move on to blockers. Blockers are things that prevent us, once we have cellular energy and we're doing all the right things and we're digesting and we're taking the right supplements and we've removed pathogens and toxins and all that, blockers prevent your body from regenerating and healing and block you when you're doing everything right. This is where I see most women get stuck. When they come to me, when they've tried it all, they've got the red light device and they go into the sauna and they have this beautiful supplement routine and they avoid dairy and they avoid gluten and they've done all this healing, but something is still blocking their cellular energy. What is blocking you? One of the biggest things I see is your cortisol, your hormone conversion, and your environment. See, you could do the right things, but if you have cortisol that is out of control, then it's going to block your body from being in a state of rest and digest and healing. It's in fight or flight. And I know this is the biggest conversation I have to have with high functioning women. They're like, how can I have less cortisol? I run on cortisol. I'm type A. I've got a million things to do. So do I, sister. So do I. But let me tell you, I would say 20 to 30% of the cortisol flowing through your body is coming from things that are not actually benefiting you. High cortisol comes when your nervous system is on high alert because you are overstimulating it. When you are not giving it the signals often enough that it's safe. So an example, and I talk a lot about this in my Less is More mini class. We did it last August. It was 3 modules on how to run your body like a Ferrari by doing less so you can do more, so you can do it all. So it's a perfect pregame to the Do It All workshop. But I talked about one hack that changed so many women's lives to decrease their cortisol when they have busy, busy lives. And that is putting your legs on the wall when you get home. Putting your legs on the wall when you get home, or putting your legs up when you're on your lunch break. Go out to your car, roll your car seat all the way back, and put your legs up on the dashboard. Why? Because this is a biological signal. Again, our body runs on energy and signals. When your legs are up in the air, it signals to your brain and your nervous system that you are safe, that you are not ready to run from a bear, that there's no bear in sight. And so these little hacks bring your cortisol down. Or you have a busy life and you can't put your legs on the wall, but you are overstimulating yourself. You're driving to the work, you're driving to pick up your kids, and you're on the phone and you're driving and you're multitasking. That's too much for a body who already has a lot of cortisol. So it's about streamlining. It's taking away the blockers. Maybe it's sitting in silence in the morning when you're making your coffee instead of turning on the news, right? Removing the block to your body that's overstimulating it. We have other physical blocks that we can discuss, like blocks in your detox pathways, right? Like these are very physical things. You're constipated, so toxins coming in can't come out, or you have a stuck and stagnant lymphatic system. So all the waste and all the toxins that your body is like killing infections and killing things are stuck in your body. So you're bloated and you're puffy and your brain fog and your belly is bloated because your lymphatic system is blocked, right? We have these physical blockers. We have blockers like mineral deficiencies or hormonal imbalances, like I mentioned, blocking the system from getting the messages it needs, blocking the body's ability to make dopamine and serotonin, which it should be making on its own, but you're probably blocking that for a wide variety of reasons. All right, each of these topics could literally be its own podcast episode. And if you want me to dive deeper into any of these topics, literally put it in the chat, DM me, find the episode, post on social media and say, hey, I want you to talk more about this. This is such an overview of helping you shift your mindset, shift the way that you're thinking about your health so you can perform better, so you have more energy, right? And you can accomplish your goals and your dreams and continue being successful. The worst thing that I see in all of my coaching is when a woman comes to me and tells me she has to take a sabbatical from work, or she took a leave of absence, or she has to quit her job because she feels so freaking awful. She doesn't have the energy to continue pursuing her career and climbing to the next level. She doesn't have the capacity to spend time with her kids and she's needing more and more support. Or she has to give up her dream of being an entrepreneur because she doesn't have the bandwidth. This breaks my heart. Because women were made for this. We have the capacity. We just have to hack it the right way. So I want to wrap up this episode with giving you some tangible things. Like I said, ambitious women, you are not tired for the reason you think you are. There's so many layers into this. But what can you do tomorrow? What can you do immediately to help turn your cellular battery on? There's a couple simple things, and I never love to do like broad spectrum supplement recommendations or broad spectrum wellness suggestions because, again, you're so unique. But there are a key foundational things that I recommend everyone start doing before we even work together in a coaching container, before we can even get to the level of biohacking your unique formula. And that is one, ensuring you have enough minerals. Women, if you are high functioning and high performing, there's two things you need. You need Ferrari fuel, not shit Honda Civic fuel, okay? And one of those things is minerals. Minerals is what your entire body runs on. Your thyroid and your adrenals and your liver and your brain needs minerals. And we are so depleted in minerals in our modern world because the soil is depleted in minerals. And minerals can be found in things like Celtic sea salt. I love the Baja Gold salt if you like that brand. But sometimes you need more support than that. There's things like humic fulvic acid. There's things like trace mineral drops. There's electrolytes in coconut water. If you like the natural way, there's minerals that you can get from certain teas like nettle tea. I love to diversify my mineral sources and try to get in as much as possible. I tend to drink a lot of mineral water that comes from natural springs where the minerals get picked up as this water is dripping over the rocks as it's coming down the spring. San Pellegrino, Perrier, things like that, obviously out of glass bottles, not the plastic ones. And when I go to Europe, all we drink is mineral water and I'm high on life. So adding in more minerals, number one. Number two, you need to be having the right amount of calories for your body. Most high functioning, high performing women and busy mamas are neglected in calories. You're not eating enough to sustain the life you want to live. This is like trying to drive your Ferrari down the road and filling your gas tank half full and getting almost to your destination and literally getting stalled on the side of the highway. That is bonkers. You would never do that. So I need you to ensure you're having enough calories. Literally, I do probably a majority of my holistic power calls, which is a 50-minute call with me where we can talk about any topic you want. I actually did a really, not to go on a tangent, but I did a really unique one the other day where a woman came to me and said, I just want your time to help me figure out what all these supplements are in my supplement cabinet. I've bought in hundreds of things over the years, and I don't know what's for what anymore. And instead of throwing them away, could you just help me understand what they are and how to take them and create a plan and then tell me what to get rid of if they're crap? And I was like, this is a Virgo's dream as a health coach. Like, let's organize your supplement pantry and get you a plan on how to take it. Anyways, I digress. But I spend a lot of time on these holistic power calls helping people calculate not only their macros and their unique formula for protein, fats, and carbs, but how much calories should they be eating based on their lifestyle and based on their body. So that is like number 2, enough energy in, calories in for what you're burning out. Number 3, being extremely mindful and clearing your plate of the unnecessary clutter. This is so cliche, but again, do you need to have music blaring in the car when you're driving to work, or do you just need to give your brain a break? Do you need to be making all those extra phone calls and extra text messages? Could you delegate them, or could you just take a little social media break? Could you take a little texting break? Could you put your phone down for a day so you're not wasting your brain battery every 2 seconds on a new topic and a new reel and a new conversation and a new thing to learn? You got to turn it off. Recharge the brain battery. Number 4, so cliche, but super necessary, is you are going to get your sleep in order. However that takes, whatever that looks like. Again, that is so unique and bio-individual, but you need to make that a top priority. And when I say sleep, I mean falling asleep before 11 p.m. because there is this circadian rhythm in Chinese medicine, and they've done studies on this, that women who are asleep between the hours of 11 p.m. and 1 a.m. are healthier, and it has more of an efficacy than a woman who sleeps for 10 hours between any other times a day. There is something in our body. Cellular energy is converted. The detoxing begins. There's certain systems that turn on and unlock during those hours of the night. And so this is why women who have jobs like nursing at night or don't go to bed till 1 a.m. don't have as much health, even though they may sleep the same amount of hours as someone else. So you're going to do whatever it takes to lock in and be in a good restful state between 11 p.m. and 1 a.m. And then you're going to figure out a way to sleep through the night, not waking up to urinate. And there's so many reasons why this happens. It's usually kidneys, it could be mold, it could be cortisol, it could be high glucose and blood sugar. Again, this is where all like that customization and unique formula comes in. But I'm just giving you these little nuggets of wisdom here, okay? Getting your sleep under control is probably the most efficient thing you can do. More important than buying the red light device and going to the gym and taking all your supplements. It's the free thing. I always say to the women at the clinic, I'm like, your stress and your sleep and getting red light from the sun and being outside and going for walks, these are free. But yet we would rather pay for the solution. I'd rather pay for the pill, pay for the miracle thing, pay for the subscription, pay for the membership. I'd rather pay you so my problems get solved versus doing the free things. So there's not a lot of money in that for me, but it's also where I'm most passionate. Like, I want you to heal for the most efficient, cost-effective way and the fastest way so you can continue to live your dreams. And number 5, when all the other things are addressed, you are then going to work on being high functioning, high performing, and you're going to do it all. This is where we get into the fun of all of it. Once you do less, once you get rid of the drainers, once you get rid of the blockers, then we take it to the freaking moon. Then we put rocket fuel in your Ferrari. This is where it gets good. This is where I love coaching people when they get to this level. And getting to this level may take you a couple months. It may take you a couple years. It really depends your starting point. But this is where you learn to do it all. This is where you get into biohacking, longevity, peptides, nootropics, all that DNA coding, like all the really magical things. Now, you don't have to wait to start that part though. These are things that will accelerate your healing. These are things that will fly you to the moon a little bit faster. If you have a rocket with multiple boosters, right? One of the boosters that's going to get you to the moon faster is getting rid of your toxins and infections. And another booster is getting rid of the blocks. And another booster is having enough minerals and calories. And another booster is going to be all the longevity and all the cellular benefits that you can get from some of the things that exist out there that you just don't know exists yet. And that's where I come in. So that's what we're doing in the Do It All workshop. Obviously, less is more. Mini course is going to help you kind of prepare for that. I'm so excited about this, you guys. I, again, don't know why I haven't done it sooner. My goal is to help you wherever you are on your health journey, whatever symptoms you're experiencing, digestion issues, hormone issues, fatigue issues, brain fog issues. I mean, the list goes on and on. Whatever issue, symptom, diagnosis, label, whatever it is you're experiencing, it's a root issue. These symptoms all have roots in our foundational health and our cellular health. And in Do It All, we're going to figure out how you can do it all by getting rid of these symptoms and then taking a booster to get there faster. That's my goal for you. My goal for you is to fall into bed at the end of the day, a full day where you checked off all your to-dos and you just have enough energy to roll over and look at your partner and be like, I have a little bit more gas in my tank to get it on with you. Or come home from a long, busy day, and instead of climbing on the couch with a glass of wine and staring at the TV, you're like, I want to go out with my girlfriends. I want to go pop over to a friend's house. I have some energy left in my tank after my corporate job of working 9 to 5 and giving it my all because I need to get paid, and still having time and energy for hobbies, enjoy, and pleasure in the middle of your work week instead of coming home tapped out. My own personal story is a testament to this. You guys, if you've known me, you saw me crash out. You saw me work multiple jobs and I've never had a time in my life where I didn't have more than one job. Sometimes I had 3 jobs. Right now I have 3 different businesses: health, astrology, and my cosmetology business. I work at the integrative clinic 2 days a week. I have family that lives all around the world. Balancing my family in Wisconsin and seeing them multiple times. My godchildren are in Wisconsin. And then I go to Germany once or twice a year to be with my entire family there. And I have a significant other who works from home and doesn't have a lot of friends or family nearby. So I'm the support system. And I run the household as a Virgo woman, right? And I have so many friends, a ridiculous amount of friends. I'm so freaking blessed, and soul sisters. And time for my own hobbies. I resell clothes for fun, which means I go thrifting and I go on thrifting trips with my friend. And then I upload all these things and take photos and write descriptions and then sell them and take them to the post office, and other hobbies that I love to do. And I love to go to the gym, and I focus number one, my priority, on health every day. I made a cup of cacao this morning. I've taken my supplements. I'm going to sauna tonight. I'm about to end this recording and go to a chiropractic session. And tomorrow I'm going to wake up and go do a Hocket therapy session before I go to work. And I work at the integrative clinic and balance all of that and have a million conversations a day. And yet I don't drink any caffeine. I'm recording this, you guys, at about 3 p.m. and I have not had any green tea today. For this cacao, I've had 2 sips. I'm doing this because I'm high on life, because my cellular battery has been hacked to perfection. Now, doesn't mean I don't have crash days. Doesn't mean I don't have days that I'm laying in bed. I'm 3 days out from my period, so my level's at about here instead of here, believe it or not. But I honor those. And when I am tired and I need rest days or my self-care days, it's intentional. It's days where I say, ooh, I'm going to hack my cellular battery. I'm going to plug it into the supercharger because I'm going to rest all day. And when I rest, I'm not scrolling. I'm not staring at the TV. I am resting. I'm out in nature. I'm getting sunlight, getting vitamin D. I'm staring at the wall. I'm reading a good book. I'm doing something that's so nourishing for my system. I'm making cacao. I'm doing stretching. Like, my self-care days are so intentional. It's not like I'm going to get a facial and solve all my problems. Sometimes that works, right? If I'm having some stagnant lymphatic flow, I'm going to get a facial that's going to move the lymph out of my face so I feel better. Oh, my sisters, I want this for you because wherever you're at in your health journey, I've been there. I've been low. I've been bedridden for 9 months. And I didn't ever think that I would be able to rebuild my health. I thought forever I would be stuck. I mean, there was a point that I didn't think I'd ever be able to walk again. I couldn't even watch TV. My brain could not handle any kind of stimulation. And the fact that I've cellularly rebuilt all the systems in my body, and I'm still on a journey. I'm still on a journey. I'm still dealing with weird symptoms and lymph congestion. And I just got my mercury removals done. Again, it took me a decade to get healthy enough just to get this last toxin out of my body. And there's more to go. There always is. But just because you can't go get your silver fillings removed, just because you can't afford to go do all this testing, just because you can't find the time or have access to certain healing modalities that I do, just because you don't have those, I promise you, it doesn't mean you can't have more cellular energy. There are things that are free. There are things that are blocking you. You could be doing less of a lot of things. It can be these simple little tweaks. It doesn't have to be a whole lot. And that's something I talk to my clients about and patients in the clinic. They think there has to be this huge overhaul and all this effort. But I'm going to come in and find the smallest tweaks and the little things so that things just click and start locking. So come join me and do it all. I'm so honored and so excited to put this together for you. If you ever have questions, let me know. You can reach out to me on all the social media platforms. I'm so passionate about this. I want to see you thrive. I want to see you win. I want to see you wake up feeling alive because life is so short. Any topics you want me to continue riffing on here on Holistic Soul Sister Radio, I would love to do that for you. And if you want access to any of the things that I mentioned, you can find them on my website, holisticsoulsister.com, or I'll link them all, whether it's less is more mini course to do less so you can do more, the do it more replay, all the other things that I have available for you. And I will see you guys in the next episode. And until then, keep healing holistically and growing spiritually. Love you so much, my holistic soul sister.